weapons and giving people money, and then cocaine deals in Latin America, shipping it in, that all got declassified and came out in Congress. That's what Iran-Contra was. And on record, our criminal government, run by the bankers, used the radical Muslims to overthrow Mossadegh, blaming him for terror attacks on mosque, like the leader of Iran would blow up his own mosque. But see, he was seen as more secular. You know, he didn't wear the turban, the big beard, all that stuff. He was into poetry, educated in the West, wanted to build his country up. He just said, can I have 25% of our own oil money to have some universities? Can we have electricity? And they said, no. Mullahs attack, and they overthrow him. Then they double-cross the mullahs and put the Shah in. It's Operation Ajax. It's declassified. It's how they did it. And so then the Shah gets out of control, wants to build reactors and build the country up. It was actually the West helped kick him out. They bring in the Islamic Jihad, Islamic Republic government, the West, Paris. I mean, you know, Ayatollah Khomeini gets on the plane, flies in, gets off, I rule everything. Now, they've obviously hated each other since then. Right after that, a few years later, the United States didn't even get attention, blew up most of their Navy. It's the biggest U.S. naval engagement since the end of World War II. Oh, yeah, you can look it up. I forget the name. Just type in biggest U.S. naval engagement after World War II, and it'll be the name of it. It's a bat. You can look at the gun camera footage online and see the photos of their battleships and stuff getting bombed by the aardvarks and the rest of it. Oh, yeah, it was like sitting ducks. Just here's all their ships, and they just blow them all up. What was that, like 89? The point is, I'm not saying they're all peas in a pod and some type of lip lock. I'm saying when you get into this deep of cloak and dagger manipulation and different factions, and the mullahs are about to get thrown out, and if they do get attacked militarily, that will further dig them in. Every political scientist will tell you that. I'll tell you that. The West will get to clamp down here. That's why the CFR report is so chilling from a month ago that leaked out that one of our guests was talking about, Dr. Monteith, is that CFR says we're going to attack them with a small attack, and then we're going to let them attack us. And that sounds like the West will even blow it up themselves, blow some stuff up, use that to clamp down on us, forget about the banking crisis. They get to pose as saviors, small attacks on the mullahs, and the whole thing's staged. And there's a very good chance, I got to tell you, I think that at a certain level is what's going on. And the poor idiots out there who are mainstream educated, they don't even know it's admitted al-Qaeda was created by the West, is being put in charge everywhere, and that these Shiite mullahs were put in power by the West, and that whole revolution was fake, and the taking of the hostages was fake, and all of that even came out. It's all there, but nobody knows it. A little... All right, so I've been ranting about Iran here, and all of us are going to lose liberties. They're lined up the military for the streets of America. They've lined up the TSA already on the streets of America. They're telling the police, get ready for martial law. This is all now public. And I talked about this some in a YouTube video I shot and posted this morning right when I woke up, kind of an angry video. My parents, I was over at their house the other night for a Valentine's Day dinner. And they're like, read this, you know, letters at 3 a.m. article out of the Chronicle. And all the Chronicle is here in Austin is a weekly tabloid run by a globalist that poses as a liberal who supports all the land grabbing, NAFTA highways, every form of tyranny you can imagine, and a bunch of porno ads. And I'm just like, I don't want to see it. They're like, no. They admit, you know, letters at 3 a.m. The article's called "It Came from the White House," and they're admitting that Obama is the one that really sponsored the NDAA, and that he deceived everybody, and that he's a tyrant, and that the liberals not going to vote for him anymore. And actually, the guy that writes the letters at 3 a.m., you know, is one of the better writers in there that I've actually read. But it's just to read these addled children, and then people think because it's in a magazine or it's in paper form that, oh, let's bow down to it because these people always have these little fake word flourishes and act like they're real intelligent. Of course Obama's evil. He reads off a teleprompter. He's funded by Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. I'm not going to play games with you people anymore who put on affected NPR voices. I was watching the Hurt Locker director's cut where they're talking over it, and they all have these simpering fake NPR voices. And I could tell it was all Pentagon propaganda. And then there's a part where they've, you know, they're letting the insurgent die, and they shoot him a couple times. And they didn't comment on that, but they kind of made these little enjoyment snorts during it that, oh, we're not going to comment on how we put in the film that our troops kill wounded. because they were embedded over there and actually shot it in the Middle East, and they're in on the little goody good. And now they're going to put out the Department of Defense and Navy SEAL movie about the killing of bin Laden. I just can't handle it anymore. I see right through all of them. And I'm so sick of people posing. Maybe if people would pay more attention to me. I mean, I guess they do. We are the #1 alternative show in the world now. Many claim it. We have all the proof. Just an evidence of liberty rising. Maybe I should wear like a big gold crown like the Queen of England on the show. And then throughout the show, ask people, well, don't think I'm kooky for wearing a gold crown. I mean, you bow down to the Queen of England, and you know, women have teacups with her on it and little paintings of them hanging in their houses here in America. And you know, pathetically thinking some warmongering witch is cute from some hereditary murdering Transylvanian family that's hijacked Europe and the rest of the world. Heck, I think I'm going to do the show one day with a big gold crown, and people will be like, why are you doing that? It looks stupid. I'm like, I know it looks stupid, but I mean, it's all meant to impress you, like a native headdress, like a peacock or something. Like I'm some type of bush bird, you know, and paradise bird. Put a paradise bird up, you know. Oh my gosh, I have like little pink feathers. I go, blah, 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 and everybody just bows down to me because I got some big bling and some gold. And I tell you, I got the biggest show in the alternative media when I don't. And I'm just a big liar, but I am the biggest. But I won't say I'm the biggest. See how that works? It's all just about fake crud. And a bunch of simpering liars up on TV, but it's like, oh, the Chronicle is admitting you're right. Oh, my gosh. They ought to apologize to you. They've written... In the YouTube video, I said they've attacked me hundreds of times. Folks, I'm talking hundreds. I don't even pay attention, and I've probably seen it 100 or more times. I mean, lies, cover stories, totally made-up fiction in this publication. And why do they hate me? Never talked bad about them years ago? And they're nobodies. They're just a microcosm of what I'm talking about. Because they know I'm real, and they're globalists. They work with the city to push all the tyranny. They want to pose as people that want liberty. And so I'm the bad man saying they're training troops to take your guns. I'm the crazy man saying they're building camps to secretly arrest you. And now it's all admitted. Washington Post last week. Oh, yeah, there's a big camp in South Carolina with jets that take off with kidnapped, renditioned people. And there's a torture center, and everybody likes them. Some don't, though. I mean, they're not patriotic. But there's no camps. And then they tell us, oh, there are, you know, the Chronicle. Oh, you know, a month after it's the biggest news story in the country that the Constitution's dead, they come out and tell you, and everyone's like, oh, incredible courage by you. But still, it's in a left-right paradigm. I mean, they'll still support Obama because they'll hate Mitt Romney so much. They're literally from the same banking cartel. It's no choice. It's like a Don King boxing match. Okay. I don't even know why I just digressed off into that. It's just that you see people attack you for no reason year after year, but they're attacking you for a reason because they're insiders and they know you're right. And then they only cover this stuff when they're forced to because reality coming out makes them look so bad. Bunch of sniveling trash. The head of the Chronicle puts on the eco land grab fest with the Nature Conservancy and a bunch of scum trying to take people's property. They want to be our feudal pimp lords. Made for walking.
These boots are made for walking.
You know, this documentary we're going to be premiering this Sunday in Dallas and then in Orlando the next Sunday. Find out more at Infowars.com/events. The tickets are going to sell out, folks. You better get them now. I know both theaters say they're going to hold 5% of the tickets back for at the door, but it's always painful to see people turned away. I was just thinking about the fact that Bill Gates' dad was in a secret intelligence arm. He ran literally in the 50s through a foundation, the first GMO projects to try to GMO crops. He's an admitted eugenicist who wants to reduce population. We've got all the documents. I've covered it piecemeal here, but I'm going to put it all together in one spot. And then Bill Gates becomes the head of Monsanto, and every major Monsanto crop's been linked to organ failure and reduced fertility in every mammal species it's fed to. Bill Gates is constantly running around saying there's too many people. He got caught in ABC News and Sunday Times of London in a secret meeting with the Rockefellers and Warren Buffett and others like George Soros in a secret meeting about world government and forced population reduction. That was in the Sunday Times for 2 years, and now we went and subscribed and dug through it. It's not there. Luckily, it was saved at Global Research. We just saved the blurblet. They saved the whole thing. And I have the ABC Newscast, TV cast, too, on that. I mean, it's just devastating. And that's why I get crazed. I am in an emergency survival combat mode, psychologically. I mean, I know what it is. I'm facing demonization, death, anything the globalist, anything's possible. And I'm committed. And I don't have fear. Instead of fear, I've got rampaging attack energy. Because when it's the opposite. Look, you've either given to fear or you give into attack. You give into resistance. And that is a form of fear. But it's passionate and enjoyable and volcanic and empowering to not be cowering in the ditch. But when I think about that, I'm 100% right on this subject, and I know what I'm talking about. I've got so much proof. It's an ocean over the top ridiculous. And you're listening to my voice, and you're being assaulted by a bunch of degenerate scum who are highly intelligent, highly patient, highly focused, who have taken over much of our civilization and are trying to complete their world government to force a full takeover of their GMO and everything else on us, and the jacking of our water, the jacking of our food. I mean, it is so mega hardcore. In fact, guys, we put up the article, the encyclopedia article. We did find it. I was going from memory, but it is the largest of 5 U.S. naval battles since the end of World War II. And it's Operation Praying Mantis. And you can see the Iranian frigate Is-Sahand attacked by U.S. Naval Carrier Wing 11 after the guided missile frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts struck an Iranian mine. I'm sure they did. And there is that report. You can read about them blowing up a bunch of the boats. You want to know what this next attack will look like? How about 50 times this, probably? I mean, it's insane. And everybody's like, good, America's tough, blow something up. Our country's run by foreign banks. They're going to use this to take our liberties here at home and put us more into debt. I told you years ago, as they implode us with the derivatives fraud, I told you by the late 90s, how it would happen, even the time frame it would happen, sometime around 2012, 2011. I'm all on record. I made films about it. Had experts on. It's all been a plan. First person I ever heard detail it with pure precision was like 1997 George Humphrey, who I'm friends with. I mean, I knew him when I was in high school because, I mean, I met him first time Buchanan ran, what was it, 92. And I was delivering. He was like one of the heads of the campaign here locally for Buchanan. I was just delivering in a pickup truck. We talked about it on there, the Buchanan signs over to his house for him to give them to people. Side issue. The point is, he's an economist, former city council guy, very wealthy in his own skills, which is the proof, really, that you're smart. I remember him saying the derivatives are a time bomb plan. They're going to take over, set up banks as the new world government. It's all in the Trilateral Commission documents. And he wrote books about it. And I'm sitting here watching it come at us, and now it's hitting us. And now they're announcing world government. They're announcing all the carbon taxes and everything else, total slavery. And everyone is under attack. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I don't choose to believe you. I choose to believe what the media says, or I choose to believe what the establishment says. Well, the mainstream media now admits global government. They just say it's just a new idea.